Hi, I'm Trixie, and this is Our Yarn World, a place where we come to talk about all the yarny goodness and the benefits that it helps us with working with our hands and doing things for others and for ourselves. And so today I want to talk about, well, the weather. It's white out here in Michigan right now, at least where we are. And the snow is predicted to reach 4 to 10 inches within the next 24 hours. And with the snowing and blowing and drifting, they're advising people not to be on the roads, and hence that's why Sarah is not here today, because, and she fully intended to be, but she's got two little babies that, you just don't want to be out on the roads in these kind of conditions with yourself, let alone with two small children. And so I told her that I would man the camera myself again this week, keep you guys updated, and make a video for us, and hopefully she'll be back again next week. So I have a nice fire going in my wood burning stove. I'm stocked up here. We don't have any worries that way. Sarah's stocked up where she is, and I just prayed this morning that they wouldn't lose power in their area. These storms tend to knock out power, and that's just not something you want to deal with these windy, cold winter conditions. So we both prayed about that this morning, that they would not be without power, and that's something that God can do, clearly. If He can control the weather, He can make sure that they have power. So, okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is these quilt blocks. Now, the last time I talked to you, I can't remember, maybe it was 12 more to do. I can't remember. Maybe it was 9. Anyway, I finished them. I got those blocks done, and I started to put the gold lace in the middles. So I want to show you that the gold lace is now being put in the middle, and that's kind of fun, make it a little decorative element to the quilt blocks. And so I've been having fun with those, partly. Some of them don't want to go on as easily as others. Sometimes the thread gets it's so thin that it comes out of the little area where it's supposed to be held in, and so it's hanging on the top of my machine, and it's like, why? I just want to get done with this thing. But it will get done. It just needs to take a little patience and a little forethought to get all of these blocks done, put together, make the quilt top, figure out something for the back, and I've already got the batting, and so it should be done, sometime. I'm wanting to get it done so bad that I've been working on it every day again. And working on something every day gets it that much further done. And so that's how I get my Afghans done too, is just working on it a little at a time every day. And you can accomplish many things that way. So to show you what I've gotten done since I've seen you last, it's been a whole 2 weeks now. We missed 1 week last week. I just didn't have enough to talk about, and so I took that week off, and now I've got some stuff to talk about. So I was working on a green and blue Afghan, and it's beautiful. If it wasn't already designated for somebody, I would keep this one myself. I was working on it over Christmas, and my nephew's wife came up and she's like, "Oh, those are pretty colors. I really like that." And I said, "Do you want it?" And she's like, "Aren't you making that for somebody?" And I'm like, "Nope, I always come up with an idea for somebody about halfway through. I'm about halfway through, and you're saying that you like it. So if you want it, it's yours." And she's like, "Yeah." So I do have it done now. But I wanted to film it first so that it would be there on the video so I could see it, and then I can give it to her. And poor thing, she's got COVID right now, so it's coming in handy at the right time. So it is blues and greens, and it is gorgeous. I love these colors together. It just looks like the earth. And just coming all the way down. Trying to show you just all these different colors and how they meld together, and all the way down. So we've got blues and greens all the way down, and it is just a wonderfully warm quilt. When I was working with it in the cold, I was so happy to be working on it and getting it longer so that I could just cover up my body with it as I was working on it. That's the fun of making blankets, especially in the wintertime. So I started a new one. Okay, let me back up a little bit. I finished that blue and green one on the last day of 2021. And that makes it 21 Afghans that I finished in 2021. I went back and I went through my log, and that's how it came out, and it was just like, yes, now I can talk about that. So I started a new Afghan on the first day of the year, and I'll keep track of those for this year and find out how many I've gotten done this year, now that I can get them done a little bit quicker. And sometimes in the summertime you just don't want to work on them so much because it is a warmer project to do, but we'll see how many I can get done. This one is a mandala, and I'm pairing it with white. So the mandala's name is called Spirit, and it's coming out so pretty. It's blues again, but it goes into these deeper blues, and then grays and silvers, and back into the teal blue. And so I just got done with one of the mandalas, and it took about 2.5 of my white balls to match the one mandala. So I'm going to be using a lot more white, but I think 3 or 4 of these mandalas is going to work out nicely for this Afghan. So I think, yes, the next thing that I wanted to talk about is, do you pick a word of the year? A word for, that will see you through until the next year comes. I tend to do that. I don't make New Year's resolutions. I mean, I never follow through enough to do that. But a word of the year helps me to know that God is with me, that it's a good year. And so this year, I don't know how many times in December I heard this word or saw this word, and I just knew that God was telling me that my new word for the year was hope. And so with that, I wanted to find a scripture for the year. And I've never really done that. I have found scriptures for my past words, scriptures, and I would print them out and just kind of read through them several times during the year to keep that fresh in my mind and what God was doing for me. But this year, I wanted one scripture that I could read and memorize, get it in my soul. And I was going through and I found one scripture that really touched me. And I thought, yep, that's the one. So I'm going to read it to you now, and hopefully it'll touch you too. It says, "Let all that I am wait quietly before God, for my hope is in him." Isn't that just beautiful? It's found in Psalms 62, verse 5 in the New Living Translation. "Let all that I am wait quietly before God, for my hope is in him." I love that verse. I've never even seen it before or recognized it or maybe seen it in this light. I've read the Bible several times, but you don't always get a rhema word every time for the verses that come to you now. The rhema words are God's special words for you that touch you at the time that you need them. And for me, this one's it. I need to spend some quiet time with the Lord because my hope is in him. And hope is a good thing to have in times when it's so dismal and the world seems to be in utter chaos and people are dying from a disease that we never even heard of a couple of years ago, and now all of a sudden we're just all in it, and the pandemic goes on and then on and on, and Jeff and I losing all 4 of our parents within a year. My word this year is hope. I need to have some hope in my life to continue to further advance God's kingdom. And so that's where I'm at right now. I just want all of us to have a little hope, to bring light to others' lives, to give what you can, to make things with your hands, and to it's a benefit to you as you're doing it, but it's a benefit to others when you give it. And so there's just all kinds of things we can do to make people's lives better and to keep hope alive. So with that, I just want to say that I am so glad that you were with me today in episode 41. And hopefully Sarah will be back with us next week and show progress on what she's been doing. And it's a good time to be alive, folks. We just need to recognize that God is with us and he never leaves us, and he's never farther away than our next breath or a heartbeat, and that we just need to recognize him and give him thanks for all that he's done for us. And with that, I want to say, stitch away to mental health.